All right, big week for Arizona football, though. A lot of high-profile people on campus. Let's start with the commitment. Obviously, you got Latrell. What do we need to know about Latrell? Because then we're going to get to some really high-profile players that I can speak to.
He's a guy where, when we talk about 3 stars that you look at the offer list, don't look at the rankings sometimes. Right. Like if you're a 3-star and you have bad offers, whatever. So if you look at Latrell's offer list coming out of high school, he was a 3-star, top 1,000 guy, whatever. But Tennessee, who he committed to, Arkansas, Colorado, Notre Dame, like Texas A&M, a good offer list. And he's a guy very athletic, was crazy good in high school. They like him. He'll probably be a depth piece, but I think he's legitimately good.
And I'm totally cool with anybody that Arizona wants because they've shown that they develop these players. Now, let's talk about Aaron Butler. He would be the highest rated player in the class, top 100 kid out of Calabasas, wide receiver, one of the fastest players in the entire country. From an athleticism perspective, he can go pretty much anywhere he wants. There's a couple other issues, obviously, but he's a really, really good football player, was on campus, and he hasn't committed, obviously, but I do believe that Arizona is in very good position with him right now.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player. I think the only thing that really has kept him from committing publicly is that Washington is telling him to wait. It could be a situation where he doesn't sign on Wednesday, Washington signs their class, comes back to him and be like, you know what, we couldn't have the spot. There's ways that Washington is getting him to hold off. And even then, I don't know if he's going to wind up at Washington. He's just the type of kid where he's going to look at all his options. And his Arizona visit went well. He likes Arizona. They're legitimately in there. This isn't a situation where it's like, oh, if Washington offers, he's a lock to go there. He's just the type of kid where he's an early enrollee. He's handling the process the right way. They're going to sit down and weigh all their options.
All right. Now, also with you also have a player in Gresham who wide receiver, top 200 kid, Oregon guy. I believe that Arizona has a very legitimate chance at him as well. I like this kind of receiving. I didn't want to go out and get players in the market that are already established because I think we already have those on the roster, but I do like bringing in some high school kids for depth, and if they do outperform, awesome. Gresham and Butler would both be very nice additions from a skill on-field perspective.
Yeah, I mean, Gresham is look, Arizona believes that wide receivers on offense can change games. That if you have a very, very good wide receiving core in college football, let's say the other team has 2 good corners, well, they don't have a third, right? And so they're going to load up on wide receivers. And if you have the ability to bring in a class with Gresham and Butler amongst, Aldrich Harris, etc., you do it. And you're adding it to the talent already on the field. And all of a sudden you might have the best wide receiver room in the country.
All right, Joseph, very interesting point. We've talked about this before, Sheer myself, Afra. How do we squeeze Butler into the rotation? In my opinion, Green, Riley, and Jones take precedent over him. Exactly. That's why I like this. I think these dudes are ready to rock and roll. I think Malachi Riley and Kevin Green, I think they both have 800 to 1,000 yard potential between them. And A.J. Jones has a world of potential as well. I think these guys are ready to take that next step. You bring in Butler, you bring in Gresham perhaps, and then you have a loaded room. I like internal improvement here, Sheer. I think they're going about this the right way.
Competition, man. It's always going to be about competition. And I think that people are still looking back at like the Kevin Sumlin, Rich Rod era where there wasn't really competition. You brought in guys to start immediately. And the way it's going to work out is that in the spring, this wide receiver room beyond T-Mac is going to be wide open. Like there's no guarantee Montana is going to start anymore. There's no guarantee Kevin Green is going to come in and start. It is going to be an open competition, and the best 3 guys are the ones that are going to start.
My only concern, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit, is this, and again, Jedd, just like with Tommy, awesome A-plus job. Jedd does play, I don't want to say favorites, but Jedd certainly has his players. Now, it started changing a little bit towards the end of the season, but for the first 8 games, Montana Lamonius Craig did absolutely nothing and would never come off the field. That is my concern about bringing in players that will not come off the field. if they haven't really earned it per se. I want to see I want the best man to win right here. Outside of T-Mac, I don't think anything should be promised to anybody, Sheer.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we did see it change at the end of the year a little bit, with Riley and Green, and we'll see. We'll see. I just think that at the end of the day, Fisch didn't want to take Cowing or T-Mac. That left very limited snaps. Now that's moving a little bit. So let's see how Fisch handles it.
All right. Now, DJ Wesselak, what do we need to know about this year?
I think he comes to Arizona. He enjoyed his visit very much. It wouldn't surprise me if he's another one of these guys. Look, Arizona had multiple commitments this weekend, and I wasn't kidding when I tweeted that they were waiting for their videos. Like Bryce Butler committed as soon as he got his video. I think he committed at 6:30 in the morning. Jack Luttrell got his video. I mean, it's a possibility Wesselak decides to commit today. I would be surprised if he doesn't wind up at Arizona. I think Arizona lands every visitor they had this past weekend.
This is going to be a very nice weekend for Arizona.